Three-point estimation is a technique used to estimate the value of a variable or parameter based on three different estimates: a best case scenario, a most likely scenario, and a worst case scenario. These estimates are used to calculate a weighted average known as a triangular distribution, which provides a more realistic and accurate estimate of the variable or parameter. Three-point estimation is often used in project management to estimate project duration, cost, or other variables that are subject to significant uncertainty or variability. It is a useful technique because it takes into account the potential for both optimistic and pessimistic outcomes and provides a range of possible values rather than a single point estimate. To use three-point estimation, you will have to perform some inherent steps, and that too in order. And these are: identify the variable or parameter to be estimated, determine the best case, most likely, and worst case scenarios for the variable or parameter, assigning weights to the three estimates based on their likelihood of occurrence, calculating the weighted average of the three estimates using the formula in front of you, which is best case plus 4 into most likely plus worst case, all in parentheses, divided by 6, and finally using the weighted average to determine the final estimate for the variable or parameter. These 5 steps, if implemented, will give you a three-point estimate required. Three-point estimation can be a useful tool for managing risk and uncertainty in projects, but it is important to carefully consider the assumptions underlying the estimates and ensure that they are reasonable and based on reliable data or information. Let's say a couple of examples of how three-point estimation might be used. Estimating for project duration. A project manager is planning for software development project and wants to estimate the length of time it will take to complete the project. The project manager identifies the following three case scenarios. Best case scenario, the project is completed in 6 months. Most likely scenario, the project is completed in 8 months. And the worst case scenario is where the project manager feels the project will be completed in 12 months. The project manager assigns weights to these three scenarios. For best case, it's 10%, for most likely it's 70%, and worst case is 20%. And using the formula for three-point estimation, the project manager calculates a weighted average of 8.6 months for the project duration. Estimating for project cost. A project manager is planning a construction project and wants to estimate the total cost of the project. The project manager identifies the following three scenarios. Best case, the project is completed for $500,000 US. Most likely scenario is where the project is completed around $600,000, and worst case scenario is that the project will require $750,000 to be completed. The project manager assigns weights to three scenarios, a best case scenario having 20%, most likely 60%, and worst case 20%. Using the formula for three-point estimation, the project manager calculates the weighted average of $620,000 for the project cost. In these two examples, three-point estimation is being used to estimate a variable, project duration or cost, based on three different scenarios and a weighted average. This approach can be useful for managing risks and uncertainty in projects, as it considers the potential for both optimistic and pessimistic outcomes. See you in the next lecture.